wish you could meet my friends Jim and Jean Southworth. Few people understand better that when life throws us a curveball, we need to stand in the batter's box and take a good swing. They also know that if you're riding the train, don't jump off in the middle of the tunnel. This is important. About 5:30 one morning, Jim, Jean, and their 3 children were sound asleep in their home on a peaceful street in Salem, Oregon. Their eldest son had just poured himself a drink at the fridge and headed back to bed. On a nearby hillside, the Curly's dairy guy rolled his van to a stop for a routine delivery, but when he returned, his mouth dropped open in horror as the van took off backwards down the hill. It jumped a few curbs and took out a maple tree. It flattened some shrubs and toppled a picket fence. It leveled the Southworth's front porch and crashed to a halt in their darkened kitchen. A few years earlier, when an earthquake hit, Jim yelled, "A truck hit the house." This time, he sat up in bed and yelled, "It's an earthquake!" But it was a truck. When Jean saw the mess, she did what any homemaker would do. She cried over a spilt milk truck. But then she saw the slogan on the van staring at her from the ruins of her kitchen, and the tears vanished. "Here comes Curly's," it said, and Jean started to laugh. When the dust settled, Jim talked Curly's out of 3 gallons of ice cream. Jean wasn't so sure she wanted Curly's delivering anything to her house ever again. After all, the front porch was totaled. The eating nook was toast. And the front door? No one quite knew where it was. Insurance covered the $15,000 damage, and Jim and Jean decided the time was right to do a little renovation. When the reno was completed, Jim and Jean threw a closing of an open house party. And guess who showed up? The Curly's guy. They had signs telling him where to park. In the kitchen, 67 guests gathered to browse through the accident photos. When we first heard the crash and saw the crumpled walls of our house that morning, says Jean, we thought this was the end for all of us. Once we realized we'd only been smashed into by a delivery truck, we calmed down. Our entryway and kitchen nook were destroyed, but our kids were okay. That's what matters. Besides, what good would getting upset do? Did they consider a lawsuit? Never, says Jean. But we were surprised at how many wanted us to. It was fun seeing our story on the front page of the newspaper, but we were left wondering why our reaction was considered so unusual as to be newsworthy at all. That's the way it's supposed to be, isn't it? After all, we're followers of Jesus. We're supposed to practice love and forgiveness. No matter what happens to us, there's always something to be thankful for, says Jean. In our case, God protected us. The Curly's truck could have easily come into our bedroom instead of the kitchen that morning. Besides, she laughs, my husband is a dentist. He's used to filling cavities. Has something crashed into your life recently? Something you would not have chosen? Remember this, suffering and difficulty can be destroyers, or they can give you the chance to rebuild and live a richer life. Just ask my friends Jim and Jean. Here's what they would say to you today. If you trust, you will triumph. If you last, you will laugh. If you want to weather the storm, then sink your roots deep into the soil and hang on to the rock of Jesus Christ. Jean told me this, Pulitzer Prize winners know what will be in their obituaries. It's going to talk about their great achievements. At my funeral, I'm sure someone will say something about the day I got creamed by a dairy truck. I don't know what you're going through today, but difficult times have profound potential for evil or for good. They can rip families and marriages apart because of selfishness and bitterness, or they can pull us together, uniting us as we turn toward God.